All right, so I went to go see I Love Boosters last night with my sisters. I was gonna do like a car talk on my little bill type shit, but I we went to like a Korean barbecue afterwards. I was being present. I didn't feel like doing it, and then like the lighting went away. So now doing something new here, kind of right where at least this first half is a no spoiler first take review of boosters, and just up top, if you like watch nothing else, I guess I like this film. I like this film a lot. I had a fun time dissecting, but also just being absorbed in it. So I gotta give it four contradictions out of five possible paradoxes, right? Um, of the multiple ways that I could describe this film, right? I think I'd go with Devil's Wears Prada with a point, Project Hail Mary with a soul, and my new favorite children's movie, Let Me Cook. Real quick with it though, right? So let's go back and start with Devil's Wears. This is the Devil's Wears Prada with a point. And I guess really like more specifically, this movie. If you're a person that I spoilers for Devil Wears Prada 2, I guess a little bit. But if you're a person that has decided not to watch the sequel to The Devil Wears Prada because you do understand it as a cash grab, I am here to tell you that, like, cash grab or not, that it was a good movie. It was a good movie, and it is worth your time to go watch it. Like, the check has already been cashed. Who fucking cares anyway? But it does attempt to have some sort of commentary with the 20 years, with the 20-year gap between the first movie and the sequel. They live it up for sure, and they kind of inevitably don't say as much as they could. But this movie, especially with its focus on fashion and on creativity and like on the arts, I do think Boots Riley has a much stronger, obviously, right, anti-capitalist message, and it, at the same time, I think doesn't overly take itself too seriously. So the way it goes about its anti-capitalist messaging, I feel like resonates more because it's very fun. It's very fun. It's very wacky. It's very absurdist. So yeah, I do think, in the sense of, if you ever wanted a movie that creatively works politics on its sleeve, this is what you're getting with I Love Boosters. The other way that I would like to describe it is Project Hail Mary, but with a soul, which doesn't require me that I take a step back a little bit. And I know y'all gonna kill me for this. And y'all can. I'm always up for discourse. I'm always up for a conversation, especially in these like impromptu videos. But if you have followed me on live or followed me around wherever I'm popping up on YouTube, you might know that I wasn't the biggest fan of Project Hail Mary, right? Like, I got it, I understood it, right? It is cool that even though we are different species, with a shared goal, we can all get together and make it happen. And also, it's cool to see how far you can take real math into space and whatever. But the reason why it left a bad taste in my mouth is that though I recognized the emotional lesson, like, ultimately being shown in the film, that being one of like collaboration between cultures, or like and condemning, like, a sort of like passive xenophobia. Me seeing, and I say this to everybody, me seeing Ryan Gosling befriend a rock in order to save the world, unfortunately in 2026, does not engender within me the same hope that other white people will do the same with non rock people, even if they are still brown colored, right? Like that's really what I'm coming at. What I'm coming at, right? I Love Boosters. I shares the same optimism of Project Hail Mary in a sense, uh, but I think because it's very maximalist and therefore also maximizes its more corny parts, it washed over me better, right? It not only washed over me better, but I also thought the thing it was being very earnest about, which is the idea that it is not like an us versus them, or the us versus them is not based on like identity politics necessarily. It's literally like the worker versus the people that exploit your labor. And like, hey, very simple message, right? If we all got together, we probably would overpower the small number of people that control our waking lives. Right? Like, yes, I know the people on this channel to like a hardcore leftist or whatever, like this is just calling water wet. However, I think it means something that, mind you, I'm not, I didn't do, I'm not doing, I refuse to have to do academic background research on every fucking movie that I watch, on every director every single time. So like, I don't know about how it got funded. Like I've heard I've been hearing things, but like I don't quite know the extent. But I do know Boots Riley, who's usually an independent filmmaker, did take corporate money, did take big money to make this film. And the trade-off there, you see it in the production, right? Like even though like fucking shout out They Clone Tyrone, like Boots Riley is able to make a lot shake with a little, but getting like the actual big budget, he clearly put it to good use. And I also think a concession that also gets made with that level of funding is like, you know, how can you make your message both incisive and attractive? And I do think because there are so few anti-capitalist films out there, right? Having this one that ends with a pretty solid, direct, emotional conclusion that, you know, apes strong together. That's cool. That's cool. It was. I really appreciate how it was giving maximalist empathy energy in an age of desperation, because you know ultimately that's what I need. You know, I was left feeling, if for but a moment afterwards, especially with the ending, that maybe it was possible for all of us to wake up at the same time and achieve class consciousness. And like that's a fantasy. I get that. But having that dream helps me wake up the next day and go into my community and actually do the work that needs to be done. Right? Actually like gives me that energy to continue community organizing. And I do think like that's important. Right? That's good fuel. That's good propaganda. I think this movie is low-key like a kid's movie. And like this is not a kid's movie. Like this is rated R for a reason. However, I think it's like a children's movie in the same way. I've been using, I hope somebody who understands what the hell I'm saying can also give like similar movie recommendations or like movie recommendations. But I've been using the example of Who Framed Roger Rabbit and like maybe The Mask, but more so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as like they're movies that I know I would watch a lot as a kid, whether or not they were supposed to be for kids, right? But due to the way the story was set up, the story was so entertaining or so action-packed that I still would have subsumed some of the like overarching commentary. And I do believe it is those films that you watch when you're a kid that you watch because you're entertaining and you get the politics of them passively end up shaping, like they do contribute to shaping your own theory of mind, like how you think about the world. And so you want to watch good stuff. You want to give the kids good stuff early. So like they just fuck around. I'm like, oh my god, wow, you know, I actually do find empathy to be quite my default. It's almost like all those episodes of watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, and really being invested in those characters, kind of spilled over to my real life concept. I think that's all I really gotta say on that point, right? Like, this is the movie that I will, to be honest, I will have my kids watch, or I'd be happy if I found out they were watching it at summer camp, um, every summer, like somebody just put it on the background, because this movie is hilarious. It's so absurdist. I mean, anyone willing to put an explanation of dialectical materialism next to some teddies, yo, they living in 2050. Like, they're clearly on something that I'm not yet, and I just gotta see where it goes. So, I just realized that might have been a little bit of a spoiler. But if you this far into it, hey, look. But that's not a big spoiler. This is spoiler time. Like, this last section, I do just want to point out some things that I liked and I didn't like really quickly. Things I loved, which can probably be seen through what I've said so far anyway. I love the absurdist comedy. The gowns, as my friend Melanie says, like, the fashion in this shit was crazy, and I do mean it when I compare it to The Devil Wears Prada, insofar as the fashion and its engagement with the entertainment industry. But everybody looks so good. Everybody looks so good in this movie. I keep forgetting where there's cause the trio is Keke Palmer, her friend, and then they have like the airheaded one. She was low-key actually always dressed down, and I know I seen her from someplace, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out where I saw Homegirl from before. But I felt like I already knew who she was. It's possible she also looked kind of like Momo Boyd. This is beside the point. Things I didn't like though. There were definitely some times where Boots Riley was in his like Spike Lee bag, where he just like started all but talking to the camera. Usually like whining about. Personally, I felt like whining about why like his stuff wasn't more successful, how he's not getting enough support. And listen, I hear you. I do hear you. So I don't want to sound so condescending when I say like, there's a reason why you keep that shit in the draft though, because as a normal person watching it, I actually realized how much it stalled the narrative and felt so out of place, because you realize like, oh, I actually don't care, and like the energy, the frustration of this character doesn't actually fit with what's going on with the narrative. And so you immediately have to attribute it to Hannah the author. And like you understand like, oh, it's Boots Riley talking about his frustration with larger labels or entertainment firms not wanting his work or having to make his work palatable. And like, point taken, it just felt preachy. It just felt preachy. And like I said, like, I enjoyed the movie so much, I almost like self-deleted those moments as soon as I left the theater. But I do know if I were to like go back, this movie has to do a lot, right? This movie is trying to be like this anti-capitalist, pro-worker manifesto, in a way that I guess maybe I've never seen before. And so I do think it has a tall order, but there are points like where like he takes time to explain what dialectical materialism is, which is the only time I've seen in my entire cinematic viewing experience someone explain what dialectical materialism is. And I'm like, hey, if that's how we help some people get some class consciousness, I gotta be for it. What else? Oh yeah, okay. So the last two things are that and y'all can let me know how you guys feel about it. But I didn't like how the paper ball metaphor or like imagery got resolved. Like I understand that by the end of it, like it gets smaller because now she's like linked in with her community. But for me personally, I think the way the actual scene reads, it being at the end and like it's basically only her that sees the ball get smaller, it doesn't exactly impart what I thought the lesson was, which is that, you know, like a sorrow shared is half, right? Like when you surround yourself with people and share your life with other people, share your both your joys and your woes, the woes feel lighter and the joys feel like get multiplied, right? As like the sailing or whatever. So I don't know. It would have been better, or I'm not gonna say what I wish the movie was. What I'm saying is like what I felt missing from that scene was a better acknowledgement of Keke Palmer's character feeling less anxious about her bills because she found community. And I think it's because the movie doesn't actually explain how her being tapped into community makes any of those bills feel less anxious. And so there's it's kind of just left hanging. And I'm sure there's other plot lines that it feels like there's other plot lines where that happens as well in this movie. Like it is a very frenetic ride, exemplified no more perfectly than with this Lakeith Stanfield character, who I could not. I mean, I wasn't supposed to take this nigga seriously, but bro, I could not keep a straight face whenever this man was was on the screen, bro. Doing this like doing what you don't find out until like his second or third time on screen is supposed to be an accent, like maybe French Italian. I don't know, the way it comes out of him, and just I turned to my sister and I was like, oh, I get it. He's like Dominican, right? I'm not, you know what? I don't even want to talk about what he does. I don't want to talk about what he does. I guess I will appreciate the fact that like the thing I can glean from his character arc, if you want to call it one, or at least it's, as far as it intersects with Keke Palmer's character, is that it was powerful when he was like, you know, like I see the same lonely in you, and then she's actually like, nah, I'm gonna break this pattern. Actually, I can't. I low-key can't have. I can't have niggas sucking out my soul. Except in a very specific way that you can't do anymore. That you said you're not gonna do. So that's that. I love boosters. I like boosters. What do you guys think? I kind of like this. I didn't clean walk for 20 minutes doing this shit. This is cool. I might do this again. That's Taya. And as always, be kind.